Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Ghost Encounters of the Third Kind. This week we are doing things a little bit different. We have some emails from some of our listeners, so we're going to be taking some of those. Most of those this week are talking about the afterlife and out-of-body experiences and things like that. We have had other emails, but we're going to kind of group them together and make this podcast about what happens when we die. And tonight, here with me, Nick, is Nick C, Marie and Faye. How are you all, guys?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, great, mate.
Great. So, reincarnation, are we believers or...
Definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah, I want to believe.
Do you?
I want to believe.
I want to believe.
I want to believe that I get a second chance at things.
Right,
Different chance at things.
Yeah, a different chance. You won't get a second chance.
Well, a different chance.
Got to enjoy it while you're here. Yeah, so, okay, have we got any emails or any
I've had a
questions?
couple of emails, but they're about, to be fair, these are more afterlife questions that we've
we'll
had
start off with
emailed in.
Okay.
So then, the first question goes to, let me see, Ava Darlington from Lincolnshire.
Hi, Ava.
Good evening.
Hi, Ava.
Ava, hope you're listening in. So her question is, what she wants to know is, she's put, I'll read out what she's put. She's put, is the spiritual world a real place? Are there lands, cities, mountains, oceans, forests, and are you perceived to be sort of here?
Like Earth.
Is it like...
Okay.
Is it
That's
our
a
world?
question,
Okay.
That's a question.
Well, I suppose that the first answer to that, Ava, is we don't know. None of us have been there, so we don't know. I think it's a real place, but whether it's got mountains and streams or not, I don't know. What do you think, guys?
A parallel universe type thing, isn't it?
I don't think it's a parallel universe, and I don't... You would like to think it's got all these things, but I think that's just wishful thinking. Where do I start? I don't want...
At the beginning, Nick, at the beginning.
I have to watch what I'm saying, because...
I think that could be the end goal. I think that could be the end of everything.
Yeah, because I don't think anybody is... Even if you've had an out-of-body experience, like if you've been in a crash and people come back and they say that they were looking over the body and all that kind of thing, I don't think, because they're not actual dead, it's like a near death. So I think actually when you do die and you don't come back is something totally different than the out-of-body type of experience.
But you don't think that the afterlife is somewhere that we go and we carry on living like we do now?
No.
And we do the same kind of activities and we meet past family members?
That's actually, Marie, that's a question.
No, right.
That's another question I've got here.
Shall I tell you what I believe happens?
Okay.
Psychic Marie.
I believe, obviously I haven't got a clue really, but this is just my belief, that when you die, you're put in like an holding cell. Your spirit, you're there. Sorry, excuse me. And I believe when you contact a spirit, that's who you contact, somebody in this holding cell, in this limbo. Yeah. And you were stuck there, your soul is stuck there until you're reincarnated into another body. And you keep being reincarnated till you've improved yourself that much that eventually, after, well, me, probably just one reincarnation, but a lot of people, it could be a couple of hundred. You know. So if you improve yourself that much, then eventually you will go to the Creator. Whether you become a part of that Creator or you go and live in the Creator's world that could have houses, could have mountains, I don't know. But I believe when you contact a spirit, they're in this holding cell waiting to be reincarnated. And if you've got a loved one that's passed, that you've been trying to communicate with and trying to communicate with and trying to communicate with, and you can't do it, I'd be more happy about that, because I believe that that spirit of that person has passed on, has got over dying, and moved into another body.
Oh, now, see, Nick, there's a couple of things I don't like about that.
Right, okay, well, that's all right.
I just, you know, and I think it's more of an image that your terminology is putting in my head. One
Right,
of them
yeah.
is a cell.
Well, yeah, I
You know
suppose.
what I mean? And the other one is stuck. You know, when you're saying that they're stuck there, I don't...
Sorry, I'll rephrase that then. I won't say stuck. They are there until they choose another body
Okay.
to be reincarnated in.
Okay.
And as for the cell, it's nice and fluffy.
do you think that? Do you think that? What about? Because you do read about things like that, don't you? About when people don't realise that they've passed, they don't realise that they've died.
Yes, well, I believe they're there
Is that
because
the
they
same
haven't
thing?
made a choice. They haven't realised they've died.
Right,
They haven't made a choice to be reincarnated into another body.
Yeah, see, I don't agree with that. Because you've got, in my mind, there's a soul and a spirit.
Okay.
The soul, and I don't believe I'm going to say this word because I absolutely disagree with it. It's non-binary. A non-binary soul. I don't think when you're a soul, before you come here, you weren't a man or a woman.
No.
It was just
Gender free.
it was just gender free.
Just an energy,
well,
a
that's-
light, if you like.
Yeah, maybe a lot,
Yeah.
Non-binary soul, you weren't a man, you weren't a woman.
No, I agree with that, what you've said. So what I said previously, I don't know what I'm on about anyway, but when, like you say, you don't know they've died, I don't know how that can happen then. Because I believe the soul inside me doesn't, just because it's a male this time, doesn't mean it's going to be a male next time.
No, absolutely not, no.
But when we're talking about the spirit, we're talking about the spirit of Nick Clark, which that soul has had the Nick Clark experience, whereas my soul's had the Nick Taft experience. When we pass, the spirit is the past. It kind of goes, puts in a bank or connects with God or whatever you want to call it, and then the soul can reincarnate into another person. So there might not even be that many souls. It's, you know, when in the Bible they talk about like 144,000, is it something like that? Maybe there's only that many souls, and they get reincarnated or incarnated. Maybe it can. See, you can talk about split links, whereas maybe it can be in two places at once. There might be the soul that you belong to might have another spirit in somewhere else, maybe Africa, Australia.
I think there's it's quite a common theory, isn't it, that we come down to learn a particular lesson, and then we go home, as people say, and then we come back to learn a completely different lesson. And I think some of these people, when we talk about past lives and reincarnation, say that maybe phobias or things that we have in this life can connect to previous lives. You know, if somebody's particularly terrified of water and no idea why, it could have been because they drowned in a previous life, and that there could be some connections there. But in answer to Ava's question,
That was a big answer.
I know, see, this is how
Could
we
go
go
on
off
all
on a
night with that
tangent.
answer,
The answer is it would be lovely to think that it's all rolling hills and sunshine and a lovely place, but
Do you think it's like a replica of here but better? Or not?
I don't think so.
See,
I think it's going to be something that we can't comprehend.
definitely.
Yeah.
I think if you've this is a theory that I've heard. I don't know where I've heard it, so I can't quote who I've heard it from. But we did touch on voltage last week, I think, and your body's made up of voltage. I'm sure we touched on
Energy,
that last week,
yeah.
on the energy situation. So I think that we're put here with a certain voltage, which we are, And then, you know, when people say raise your vibration and you're raising your energy, well, I think that is the whole goal of it being here, is you raise your vibration and raise the voltage. So when you go back to spirit, you're taking a plus voltage back to the source, not a negative. I know that sounds
For what reason?
Good question, because I don't know the answer to
No,
that. But
just to make everything
yeah.
better up there, or just to keep everything good.
Just to increase the voltage of the God or whatever we go back to. I don't know if that's correct, but it does make sense to me, because when you do good things, lighter things, meditate, and what you do, your voltage does raise in your body, and you can measure that. So I don't know. It's just
Okay.
it is a little bit of a complicated one.
Yeah, yeah.
But I hope it isn't like it is down here anyway.
No, I think.
Oh gosh.
I think personally,
Because-
it's something that we can't comprehend. I think we've got colours there that we have no idea what them colours are in this life. I think everything is
Yeah, because
different.
when you read about or you listen to people telling stories of near-death experiences, none of them want to come back, or have
No.
always said, "No, I didn't want to come back. I didn't. It was beautiful. It was peaceful, beautiful. You know."
We've done psychedelics, and that's exactly.
And what you see there is absolutely nothing like what's down here.
But when you're there, you feel connected. You know everything. You can see everything. But without obviously seeing everything, knowing everything, you just know it, and
It's weird.
yeah.
Now that will be a good podcast, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
we'll do
We'll
that.
do a podcast.
We will
on
do
that
one.
We'll
That'll
do
be
one, yeah.
excellent. That one.
Well, we don't want to scare everybody off it
Yeah, straight
So
away.
early
but,
on.
because it's
Okay.
it
So
is
another
controversial.
quick question. This is a fellow Stokey. This is, and all we've got is Doreen, so we don't know what. We've got Doreen from Stoke-on-Trent. Her question was along the lines of: she says, "Does your personality survive the death of your body?"
I'd say yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
as the spirit of the person, not the soul.
You see, I've
in
asked
the
this.
old cell.
I've asked this question before. I've often wondered. I used to believe that you could be a not very nice person on Earth, and then when you pass over, that you have all these regrets, and you can see what you did wrong, and you sort of, you know, and if you get sort of communication with a genuine medium or whatever, then you can get apologies and stuff. That's what I used to believe. Then I turned to, I think if you weren't nice on Earth, you're still not nice when you pass over. So, you know, when you get these mediums that say, "Oh, I've got your nan here, and she says she's ever so sorry about how she treated you, and she loves you, and she made all these mistakes," I don't think, I don't know. I think I've got your nan here. She wasn't a very nice person, and she's not apologising, and I think that they stay the same.
Yeah, because your
You
body
know?
is like the material,
Yeah, of course.
and we all know how people put on a show with that. But your true form, when you pass over, I think your true form when you pass over, that's what you get.
I
Your
think
true
so.
form, because
Yeah.
it's your soul. And if you've got a bit of a dark soul or a bit of a
Yeah, I believe that.
I don't
That
think
is
you
inside,
I
isn't
don't
it?
think you automatically become remorseful for your actions, and you become
No, it's-
an enlightened, lovely person.
Well, it's
when
like
you
changing if you've read a book, it's like changing the content of the book at the end when you shut the book.
Yeah.
The book's the book, isn't it?
Yes.
If that's what you've
Yeah.
been up to.
Yeah, it's like all these demonic entities and all that. Well, I don't believe in a demonic entity. I just believe in a good spirit or
A bad one.
about
a bad spirit. So that bad spirit was obviously a right
tenacious.
person on Earth. So I think they gave me the same
Yes,
once they
me
passed.
too.
Definitely, I definitely believe
Yeah.
that.
Of course, I do believe that they can regret doing certain actions when they're here, as we do now, when we're still living, we may have done something that we regret doing, and we go and apologise for it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying apologies can't happen, but I think the type of person that you are in your core on earth, that carries over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So what do you think about, because I know this goes for, well actually no, it's people that have seen people as well. They always seem to go back to a younger form, don't they? So you see a clairvoyant and they'll describe it and you'll say, oh no, that was my nan when she was like 18, or pictures have been seen and they've not been recognised by other people, but then they say, oh yes, it was.
Yeah.
Do you think you lose all your ailments and you probably go back to a time when you were happiest? No?
I don't think that, because I think once you've had the Fae experience, then that is the experience. It's logged down just like a book. You can't change the pages.
But when you pass over though, do you think that you still...
No, because I think when you pass over, well, for me, when I'm talking about the soul and the spirit, the soul is different. Obviously that part, that Fae part, goes on the record of everything you've done, and that's it. I don't believe you can change it.
You're not going to carry ailments because
though,
ailments are for your body,
No,
for your
it's-
shell,
yeah.
aren't they?
Yeah.
And that wouldn't get ailments and illnesses wouldn't carry over.
No, and I think when we touched on this a few weeks ago as well, when you get messages off a medium, what we have to remember is that's their point of view of that person. They if they're picking up that the image of that person, it doesn't mean that person's gone back to that age or whatever. That's just
confirming that you know them.
How they're choosing to represent themselves.
Yeah, because if the medium didn't have a good enough, not evidence, a good enough memory recall to give you the information of how she looked when she passed, then she would just be giving you the information that was coming into her mind from her memories, like we talked about last time, where when you give the evidence, you can only if new stuff comes into your mind, are you just making that up? Or
I mean, if we believe that when we pass over, we're just a light or an energy and no real form, then you've got to sort of show yourself as something. Otherwise, there's no distinguishing between. Do you know what I mean? We can't all just be bright lights or energy.
You've just brought us on to the next question. There,
Oh,
with that.
freaky.
How a nice little link in there, Marie.
Okay.
Psychic Marie.
we need some spooky music.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Okay, so next question.
I think it links quite well. Peter from Bury, Peter Stevenson from Bury. Thank you, Peter. Good evening. He says, do we meet everyone we've known here that has passed over there? Do you meet up?
I don't believe so.
I don't.
Now you.
I
so
knew
will
you were going to say that.
I know you are hoping you do.
I'm really hoping.
And I suppose...
Because if it's your soul, would your soul not recognise another soul, even if you weren't in sort of physical
Don't
form?
get me wrong. I don't think I'm going to go up there and I'm going to see my mum as my mum is, and my nan and granddad as they were. But I think there will be something, if you want to call it telepathically or whatever, that you recognise that other soul as somebody that you shared, some love with and closeness with and family links to. I think you do recognise them. I don't think that I'm going to walk in looking like this and my mum's going to look like her, and but I do think that you will recognise loved ones or people you knew in this life somehow. That's what I want to believe anyway.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure I would like to believe that.
It'd be nice if that did happen.
But I think
Wouldn't it? It'd be great if it did happen.
Obviously none of us know any of this. It's just our
all
opinions.
the what you'd believe, it's Vikings. It's Valhalla. They believe they'll be with all their past family and living a good old jolly up. Would be nice, yeah. But with what I believe with reincarnation and stuff like, I can't see how I can believe in that. I don't know, but I don't know.
Because I often wonder about that, like when when you have, I won't call it deja vu, when you think, I know that person, or you have an instant bonding with
That
somebody.
could be
and you think,
somebody that's been
it's your soul
reincarnated.
knowing, but that's your soul knowing another soul, isn't it? From
That could
before.
That could be a different type of
Or when you go to a place that you've never been before, but it looks really familiar. Is that because you've been there in a previous life?
That was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
me once when I was
Deja
a kid.
vu.
I told you that about when I was on my bike. I knew.
You talk about soulmates.
Soulmates, yes.
So is that the same soul but split into two experiences?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? So you two could be
rabbit holes now.
But you two could be
The
soulmates.
same.
It's not a sexual thing, like a partner thing. You could be both belong to the same soul, but having a Marie experience and having a Faye experience, and that's why you know things or connect to each other. If that makes sense, I don't know.
So an answer to that question
What
is
was the question?
do we meet our families?
Do we meet up?
I Nick says no.
I want to say no, but again, I will go back to a psychedelic experience that I had where I met my daughter who passed, and she'd grown. So I might be totally wrong with everything I've said. Is you stay the same, because when I met her, she was like 14 years old. So, and that was really real. But again, it was a psychedelic.
I'll be honest with you. When I've had my sister in contact with me and Falty, who passed, I was 5. She was a baby. Not that long ago, I felt she'd grown. I felt she was a woman, not a baby. You know.
So, but you think no? You think when we passed, we're not gonna meet our
Unfortunately,
families?
I
You
don't
think
think.
no?
No, I
Nick,
don't think.
you're a bit on the fence.
Because I don't know. If I had to say, give you an answer, a yes or no, I would say no.
Okay, I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to say yes. Because
There
as
you
well,
go.
when we've been to church,
Yes.
and again, mediums, spiritualists, they'll say, oh, your Auntie Doris is with your Uncle Bill and they've met up and they're having a right good old time. But how
See, they might. I don't know. No, I'm not.
Don't
not
gossip
go
for that.
No,
is that
You
another
can't,
podcast?
it's like from the previous. I was going to say caller, but it was an email, wasn't it?
Yeah.
About what was that about? If they're nice or
Yeah, if you
evil
take your
spirits.
personality with you, yeah.
No medium is going to say, "Well, I've got your nanny here, and she's hates you, and she doesn't want you to get in touch with her."
No.
Are they?
it's normally the other way
No,
around.
but
They're not going to say that.
but
No medium
that-
will ever say that,
no.
even if that comes to them.
Not to that degree, but I have heard a medium say that they'd got somebody's father there who wasn't nice to them in life and didn't treat them very well. Is just coming to let you know he's okay, but not to apologise for anything or.
So you've
you
actually
know, so-
seen that, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't really want to upset anybody, do they?
No.
I've
They like it all
Understandably.
nice and fluffy. And,
Yes.
But I've had it the opposite way around. I've experienced it the opposite way around. Whereas they've said, "Oh, your Nancy, and she loves you, and she's bringing you rose and blah 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 blah," and then the person who's having the message is, "No, that's not my nan, because my nan was really horrible in this life," and the answer to that is, "Oh well, she's seen the error of her ways, and now she's changed," and it just seems a bit of a get out, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I love mediumship, so I'm not putting mediumship down by any.
It's the same as anything though, Nick, and absolutely everything in this field is there's good, there's bad, there's genuine, there's fake. You know, in every part of this field that you look at, whether it be mediums or ghost hunters or investigators or whatever, you'll always get them.
But to me, I think it's just down to the person's intention, because even bad things have happened with people having good intentions. If that makes sense, you know, if we all do something with a good intention and it goes wrong, everybody around you judges you. Oh, they've done this and they've done that. But it just worked out wrong. They might have had the best intentions in themselves, but we're judging them. So it's just like a third party who's judging you. You know, does that make any sense?
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
very great at
Yeah.
explaining that. So
Okay.
don't know.
Have we got
Next
any
one.
more? Any more
Is there any more?
emails? Faye?
Does anybody else listen?
Yeah, that's three
Well,
people
I want
who've
to
got
know
listed.
this.
Go on then.
I want to know this one. Are we judged accordingly as to your life, as of our life on earth? Are we judged accordingly?
I do believe we are judged, but it's ourselves that judge ourselves. Again, I keep going back to it, but when I've had psychedelics, I have had a past life review of my whole life. And, you know, if that's what people are having, I had things flash up which I would never just be able to sit here and say, I won't tell you
recall.
this. I couldn't recall. I was when I come back, I was so I don't know what the word would be, astonished that I saw all these memories, because I've got a terrible memory, and and everything I saw everything from my whole life.
And has that changed how you
Me?
are now from that experience?
Well, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does change you, and it changes my views. Like up until maybe 5 years ago, I was all like the airy fairy type thing. You go over the bridge and you live your life, carry on your life, and this and that. And I don't believe that now. That's down to these experiences. And I believe I'm a better person. I can't tell you how I am, but I believe I am.
I don't think there's anybody sitting on a throne that you have to present yourself to who judges you. I don't believe in that kind of judgment, but I think it is more like Nick says, it's a self judgment, and I also think that we then choose ourselves what the next lesson is that we need to learn before we come back down and lead another life.
It all depends on your religion, doesn't it?
Is there a heaven and hell?
This is it. If you're a Christian, you believe that God, Jesus, whoever, judges you. Hare Krishnas, they believe that Krishna judges you. Everybody believes, but if you like us, and I don't know,
But all in all, everybody then believes you get some kind
some
of judgment.
sort of judgment from whoever, yeah, definitely. Otherwise, they wouldn't live their lives the way they do,
Yeah.
you know. I don't know.
I think this could be hell, what we call hell.
It is sometimes, isn't it?
I do.
But
Well, it's carbon life, and it's the sign of the beast is supposedly 666, and a carbon molecule is 666. So, with that.
You go way too deep for
it
me
does
sometimes.
sometimes, yeah.
Nick.
Next question, do you want to?
Go bed on these podcast nights having nightmares about.
I go to bed every night thinking about stuff.
By the way, we're not trying to depress everybody out there, you know. You ask us what we believe, and unfortunately it isn't always what everybody wants to hear.
Have we got any more questions about this topic? Faye?
Does everyone go to heaven?
Depends on your religion.
I don't believe that there's a hell. I think there's only one place that we go. Yeah. What happens when you get there for different people, who knows, but I believe that we all go to the same place.
And that is Sergeant Pepper's Land.
Right, let me just read you a little bit of this.
Go on, yeah.
Are you all up with Emanuel Swedenborg? I think I
don't think so.
Pronounce him. So, well, he died in 1776.
Okay.
No,
So
never
I don't
met
know
him.
who. So he's a Swedish pluralistic Christian theologist,
Okay.
scientist, philosopher, and mystic. Apparently.
Okay.
And he came best known for his book on the afterlife, and it was called Heaven and Hell, 1758. Apparently quite a good read, but I haven't read it.
No.
So, my thing is, where we say, does everyone go to heaven? He states, Prince believes, whatever it is, every human being born into this world, even if it's just for a moment, is an immortal soul and lives to eternity in the spiritual world. However, the question is, are all in the spiritual world in heaven?
Yeah, but listen to this. So one person's heaven is another person's hell. So if you've got an old granny who loves knitting and sitting in the corner and she's spending eternity knitting this scarf, and you've got some big hairy biker who likes the beer and the women in the pool and everything, and he's sitting with this woman who's knitting, that's his hell, isn't it?
Heaven for her and hell for him. Yeah.
No, but what we're saying here is, are all in the spiritual world in heaven? So, because we think we pass and you go to heaven, or do you pass and go to a spiritual world, but not necessarily heaven? Well, that's what he's saying.
That depends on what you think in heaven is, because a lot of people just think heaven is a spiritual world. Is the spiritual world? They're one of the same thing, and it's just a terminology, isn't it? Heaven is. It's just a terminology to. It's somewhere the next place is called. It's just a name tag, isn't it? I think heaven is.
It's all going to depend on your religion, isn't it?
Wow. So I don't.
It definitely is, because you get your child baptised. Why do you get your child baptised?
Yeah. I didn't.
No, I haven't. Mine either. But I'm just saying, Christians, why do they get a child baptised? Yeah, it's not for a piss up.
No, but it's.
Oh, I don't know.
No, I'm saying though.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
They aren't old enough to sin.
No.
They're a baby. They're a couple of months old.
Truth be told, I didn't have my children baptised because I believe that they should be able to choose their own religion.
This is exactly why.
So when they get older, if they want to become pagan or whatever, then it's up to them. That's like forcing something on somebody that has no say.
So why is it, if you haven't been baptised, you can't be buried in a cemetery, can you? No, apparently not. It worried me because my kids aren't baptised.
No, you can't.
I'm sure you can't. Consecrated ground or whatever it is.
Well,
you can't be.
Past now, that isn't it?
No,
Nobody cares now, do they?
No,
they said I couldn't go to a Christian, Church of England school because they didn't go to church. So, but we got around that. Faked a letter, the old vicar did.
I mean, it used to be that you couldn't. It used to be that you couldn't even get married in a church unless you went to church. But I don't think those rules are still.
A lot of believes that even in the paranormal, I think it depends on your religion.
Yeah.
So that's why you're better off as a paranormal investigator. In my view, is having no religion.
Yeah, but at the end of the day,
if you know what I mean, no specific. Religion, just believe what you believe.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I don't think it matters. The truth is going to be the truth when you die. It doesn't matter what religion you're here. I think there's only one outcome when you die. I think there's, I don't think we believe we actually know it, but there's only going to be one outcome. No matter what the Christians believe, no matter what Muslims believe, there's going to be, everybody is going to be the same once they've died. They're going to be the same,
and that's how it should be.
I mean, and all of this is just purely our beliefs, what we would like to happen. Because of course, none of us have got any kind of. Nobody's been there.
We've got no outline with them, have we?
We've got no experience of this, So it's
Clueless.
all, absolutely. I got a question from a guy on the messages on the Facebook page, but it's not about the afterlife, but I'll just throw it in there so that it's been asked. And this was from a guy called Paul from Leeds, and he just plainly said, he's obviously quite sceptical, and he just said, if this is true, why is there not more evidence out there? So I think we're talking about spirits, ghosts, hauntings, and he was just asking, why is there not more evidence out there?
I don't think we're really supposed to know the answer to it, because would it if we all knew the answer, of, like, if we go back to, if we know what happens to us when we die, and if you go to a place, if you've been bad, which down to religion again, if we actually knew that 100%, then we'd all be living a perfect life, wouldn't we? I don't know. So does that make sense?
Yeah, so what you're
There
saying
wouldn't
is
be any
that there's not as much evidence out there because
I don't think we're supposed to
we're
know.
not allowed to capture that evidence
Yeah.
because we're not meant to know.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think, Faye? Why there's not more evidence of sort of the afterlife or spirits? Or
Half of it
ghosts
isn't
or-
believed anyway, whether you've got evidence or not, is it?
That's probably the best answer you can
That's
give.
exactly my answer.
no,
yeah,
yeah.
I believe that there is a lot of evidence out
Yes,
there.
I think there is as well.
But if you don't want to believe, you will always not believe that evidence to be genuine, no matter what. I can give you a perfect picture of a spirit, but if you don't want to believe, it will always be, well, you know, you could have doctored that, or that could be this, or that could be a reflection, or there could be somebody else in the room, or, you know, so that I think there is good evidence out there.
But I think we had better connection to spirit, like in the past. I mean, like quite a way in the past. I don't mean just like 20 years ago. I mean, ancient history. I think we had better spirit connection as human beings. When we didn't have all the telly and the radio and all that kind of stuff. It's just diluted everything down.
I think there's a clear way of people connecting to spirit, but we've just not seen it yet. We've not clicked yet,
Right, okay.
or we've not allowed to be seen.
But I think we're moving further away from that.
Yeah, I do. Do you think we're moving away or being pushed away?
Well, with what goes on, I think it's a bit of both. Again, with media, just all the lies they tell you.
And everyone's vibration's so low. You've got to raise that vibration, haven't you?
Well, to me, that's what I just said earlier. That is the key point. Is when you die, you really should be dying with a bigger voltage than what you come in with. That sounds mental, but everything I say sounds
meditation,
mental.
you see. No, who takes the time to meditate?
No.
Who takes the time to quiet your mind? Nobody does, do they? So,
Well, this has been quite a big thing, I think, over the last few years, hasn't it? That's come to the forefront now, where people are recognising mindfulness and meditation a lot more. You know, if you were to say maybe 5 years ago, "Oh, I've been meditating," people would look at you like you were a bit of a, you know, a bit of a Looney Tune. But these days, meditation and mindfulness, and, you know, there's NHS apps out there for mindfulness, and, you know, like you say, quieting your mind down, and it's quite popular these days.
Yeah, it is popular, but do you think people are doing it properly, or
No.
just because it's
No, I don't
because
think
it's
they are.
a lot of people do go into it as a job for money.
Yeah.
So, you know, are they doing it properly? It's like everything else. Is the influx of mediums, the influx of witches. There's mediums, witches. Every bloody other household there's a witch or a medium.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
And none of them do it properly. When you speak to them, I'm not saying that we know, but you kind of get the gist of when you speak to people that they don't know much, do they?
We've been in loads of different meetings and talks, and something I've spent years doing, that I kind of know a bit about something, and they're trying to explain it, and they haven't got a clue.
no.
Do you know what I mean? They haven't got a clue what they're on about, and it's as though they're just hanging on because the mates do it, or it's in fashion.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, everybody became a Reiki,
Yeah.
didn't they? At one point,
Yeah.
everybody I know
wanted.
decided that they were going to do that. I mean, it's nothing against the Reiki masters or anything like that, but it was, if they haven't got a job, I think I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
you know, and everybody was converting the garage into a studio.
You see, I used to think though, Nick, that not everybody could do Reiki.
I believe they can't.
So
but
even if you go to a Reiki master and you pay your hundreds of pounds for the courses and to be attuned, I still don't think that person can walk away and perform Reiki.
No, I don't
Definitely.
either.
It's like playing the piano. If I practiced for months and months and years, I'll still be crap because I've got no rhythm.
You've got to have something,
Do you know what I mean? You've got to have
something there to
Yes.
start with.
Yes.
Some people are just bored.
I think anyway.
Yes.
I think as well. I often think I've thought about this a lot. I have, because schools. If you go back to school, we always used to have a 30-minute assembly in the morning.
Yeah, start at school, yeah.
To get a good roasting for something, you know.
I'd probably done.
Yeah. Sing your hymns if you're depending on what school you went to, depending. But they don't really do anything now, do they? And I think
I don't think they can,
primary
can they?
school, I don't know why they don't sort of do a 30-minute meditation, because if you got children that young from that age starting to quiet and control the mind as they
They do it in like
Hindu schools.
Hindu
I think the
schools
world
do
would
it.
be a totally different
Yeah.
I think
place.
that's
Hindu
fantastic.
schools do it.
I think a lot of places in China and places like that, when they
China.
do the
Tai Chi.
Tai Chi,
They do that
and
before they go work, don't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
Even in
yeah.
the factories,
Yeah.
like the
Yes.
car factories, they all have half an hour of doing that before
Yeah.
they start.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think where meditation is concerned, it takes a long time to practice. A long time. It's not something that you just go sit and quiet in a room for 30 minutes and all of a sudden you're meditating. I don't think it's that easy. And I think once you've done it right, you know, because it's a massive
Oh
difference.
yeah, it says, depending
So
on
you
which
know.
which type of meditation you do. But they brought it all now. They brought it in now with athletes and footballers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you were talking to, I can't remember, I was watching some interview. He was a footballer and he said he can't believe, and a golfer, I saw it with a golfer as well, how much it's improved him just by meditating for 10 minutes a
Well,
day.
it's not just that. Can you imagine watching a sport? Now, I mean, I don't watch football or anything, but I've seen it on the telly, and I've seen YouTube groups and they're shouting and swearing. Can you imagine watching a sport where everyone's calm and chilled and they're actually playing the sport with no aggression and violence?
Nobody would
Yeah,
go.
totally different game.
No one would go.
We'd all be on the same wavelength,
Go, what's
though,
that
Nick.
for?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, no, I can see what you're saying, yeah. What, like snooker?
Oh gosh.
No, not off.
That was going to say that's when you're asleep, though. They aren't meditating; they're sleeping, surely.
No, I know what I know what you're saying.
It does depend on the.
But there's some environments that you can't really take it into. For years, football's always been that, hasn't it? Football's always been, I'm not about fighting or nothing now. Football has always been, it's Saturday, I'm going away from the wife, I'm going to have a few beers and I'm going to the match with the lads, talk a load of shit. And that's how it's been for years. But there's a lot of mental health problems within sport, and I think that's where the meditation is helping with it.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's it for the questions and the emails, and thank you so much for emailing.
It's been a bit different, hasn't it? I like that. I
Yeah.
like answering the questions. Not as
Yeah.
though I know what I'm talking about.
None of us do.
All we can do is give our views on the things,
Yeah.
you know, what we
Absolutely.
think personally.
Yeah, definitely.
So live your life nicely,
Yeah.
as above, so below.
Yeah, there you go. Yes.
Yeah, and,
There you go.
and if there's any more, please contact us, email us at contact at ghostencounters.org, or you can message us through the Facebook page.
And we'll
Yeah,
all
we
get
love
them
those
messages.
questions. They keep them coming. Yeah.
We all see them emails, so one of us will see the emails, even though we had quite a lot this last week. So
We've been saving them up.
yeah,
There's been a few, haven't there? Because we haven't posted, have we, for a couple of weeks?
No.
So we've sort of saved them up. And
We could do with probably posting on the Facebook page as well of topics going to be covered in advance, and then we can probably get some more emails
yeah.
and questions.
Definitely.
Although we do tend to change it.
Oh yeah, it changes.
We get what we start talking about. We very rarely end talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
So,
But that's been good tonight. I've
We
enjoyed
should
that.
probably just have a podcast on question and answers for an hour.
Yeah.
Any
That'd be
question,
right,
any
yeah.
question.
Anything.
We'd have to
Anything.
do 2 shows though.
That's it.
that's fab. So thanks for listening.
Yeah, cool.
Goodbye, everyone.
See you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.